Hi and welcome to Whisky Shared. You're watching my review of Green Spot Irish Whiskey. I'm Toby and you're watching Whisky Shared. Welcome to my review of Green Spot Irish Whiskey. This particular whiskey is a non-age statement single pot still Irish whiskey, and it's from the Midleton distillery. This particular whiskey is 7 to 10 years old and it's aged in ex-bourbon and ex-sherry casks. It's 40% ABV and it retails for £45 in the UK. Should we find out what it tastes like? On to the whiskey. So before I start nosing and tasting, let's have a quick look at the colour. I'd say that's like a deep gold. Possibly it does have added colour though. Let's start with the nose. Right, so the first thing I get on the nose is caramel. It's lovely and sweet. I'm getting some candy floss. I'm also getting some pear drops. Some green apple skin in there as well. There's a hint of black pepper. And there's also a floral note in there as well. Very nice. Let's move on to the palate. Yeah, so this is a little light to start with, but there's some creamy chocolate, which is really nice. There's some orchard fruits. I'm getting like apples, which is lovely, and those apples are like real apples. There's no sort of synthetic flavour with this, which I often pick up when I get that sort of orchard fruits. It can be a little bit on the sort of manufactured side, but this tastes nice and fresh, and yeah, really is nice, sort of juicy apples. Let's have another sip. Yeah, so this started off light, but I'm getting a little bit of chili pepper. I'm getting a little bit of charred oak. I think this is fairly well balanced, but very soft to start. I'm getting a hint of green cereal as well. That sort of unmalted barley comes through on this quite well. But let's have one final sip. Yeah, so I'm getting a little bit of pear drops like I picked up on the nose. So there is obviously that slight synthetic note coming through now. And there's also a little bit of fizziness on the palate. In terms of finish, I'd say it's like medium in length. There's some dry, slightly bitter wood as it lingers on the palate. There is that chocolate, which is nice, and there's also a hint of pepper that's tingling the tongue. In terms of value, well, as I said at the start, this retails for £45 in the UK. It's regularly on offer around the sort of £40 mark, maybe just under. And I think a lot of people will see this as an introduction to single pot still whiskey. But obviously Midleton and the things that they produce aren't as, well, they're not as dominating in the market as they used to be. There's lots of brands now pushing single pot still whiskey, so there's definitely more choice for less money. But does this deserve its position? Well, around the £40 mark, being 40% ABV, I think some people would potentially dismiss this, but I think it's a good representation of what a single pot still whiskey can be. It's very well rounded with the sherry component that's gone into this, and I think at 40%, the tingle and the pepper that you get, I think adds a little bit of spice, adds a little bit of bite, which you wouldn't necessarily expect from such low ABV. I think it would definitely be a good introduction to single pot still whiskey from a brand that most people have heard of, but there's definitely other brands on the market which are bringing single pot still out at this ABV and sometimes higher for less money. But this definitely deserves a place. I think a lot of people will gravitate to a brand that they're familiar with, and if you haven't tried this or any of the other spot range, it's definitely worth a go. I think when it's on offer, I think this is probably a good starter dram for an evening. I think it represents the Irish category very well. If you've tried this and you like it, or maybe you find it a little bit flat, let me know. I'd always be interested to hear in the comments below. So let me know what you think of this. And if you think there's a better, more valued single pot still that I should try, or maybe other people should try, then let me know in the comments and I'll also try and add that to my list. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Stauncher. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not give it a like or a comment, and please consider subscribing for more videos like this.